Hey there. I wanted to talk about this idea that's been on my mind lately about this fear of being not as evolved as I should or could be. And I think it's a really common fear, and it makes a lot of sense. We go through things in our lives and we learn things, and then we start to think, oh my God, if only I had known. If only I had known. And it makes sense to hold that philosophy, or it doesn't make sense in a practical way, but it makes sense in the sense that our minds could logically assume that we need to be thinking in terms of always trying to prevent ever being wrong now, or always, investigating so deeply this idea that we could be headed for hell that we could prevent if we had different actions. And the thing is that there are some things that are really practical that everybody should abide by, like taking care of our physical bodies, and that can actually play a huge role in the amount of suffering that we end up experiencing. But when it comes to more circumstantial things, that's a cute dog. When it comes more to oh, that dog's been in the water. When it comes more to circumstantial things that involve other people, and we're talking about always being super evolved in the sense that other people say and believe that we are very evolved, and they always admire us and always look to us and never want to harm us. That's not practical, because we have to, well, for one, other people sometimes they're going to be thinking poorly of us, or have some kind of incentive or motivation to think poorly of us for many different reasons that aren't any of our business. Um, and there are just so many finer circumstantial differences that can affect the communication that leads to people saying these things about us. And so we can't control or prevent it. The only way we can prevent it from affecting us, the things that people say about us or think about us, is to be loving to ourselves, and to, in the way that we practice always being very compassionate and empathetic to ourselves, and not trying to solve problems through violence or verbal violence, or like using fear and shame to provoke people's behavior. When we vow to not use that problem solving style against ourselves, then it really equips us to practice this problem solving style with other people too, and that builds our faith that we can find other people who are like us, who have come to the same conclusion, that we are about solving problems, not through using shame and violence and hatred, but through trying to understand the motivations and understand changing behaviors, and where everybody can do their part, looking at just testing out different perspectives, how everybody can maybe do a little bit of their own part to help diffuse the tension, allow other perspectives to come in, and to understand where maybe we can take up some of the slack. Maybe we are putting a lot of pressure on other people because we are putting a lot of pressure on ourselves, and we are assuming all these things about other people that aren't true sometimes. And it's just more about the relationship we are having with ourselves, the narratives we are using. Sometimes it can cause us to feel not safe in relationships with other people. whatever form that relationship is, you know, that and not safe in relating with people, not communicating with people. Or I mean, not safe in communicating with people. So I just wanted to share some kind of affirmations that I use a lot with myself, and I really hope that other people will use this for themselves too. Um, and of course, when we use these affirmations towards ourselves, then it helps us to remember these things for other people also, you know? So the affirmation that really helps me the most is to know that I am perfect exactly as I am. When it comes to being evolved or not, I am always going to be learning for the whole rest of my life, but in every moment, I am as perfect and as knowledgeable and capable as I am, given all the resources I've had access to. And all I have to do is surround myself with people who are kind of on the same wavelength, who have come to that same place in their lives in general. Not that everybody can be identical at all times, but you know, there is a just a difference between people's underlying beliefs about what is right and wrong, what kind of acidity or alkalinity they tolerate, you know? So sometimes we just have to realize it's not that anybody is objectively wrong, it's just that clashing styles are, you know, there's clashing styles, so to speak. So, anyway, yeah, just remember that when like judging whether or not you are evolved enough or whether you're right enough or whatever, that's going to be judged differently depending on the circumstance and the person in the circumstance. And all we can do is to always take our own side. Always take our own side, and to not have this unrealistic setting ourselves up for failure type of belief that if somebody is unhappy with us, then it means that we have been wrong in some way, or that we need to change our behavior, or that it has something to do with us, you know? Maybe we change our behavior in the sense of not, you know, not disturbing people who are being harmed apparently by us. In, you know, protecting ourselves from being harmed from people who feel harmed by us. But yeah, it's when you definitely grow up in environments that aren't emotionally safe, and you don't learn this foundation for feeling secure with people, and like there's like trust and true genuine care for one another's well-being, and then you go on to be in, you know, frankly abusive dynamics. um and I'm sure there's a lot of other circumstances that can result in this fixation on judging yourself, you know, but it's something that's definitely important to continue to heal from. It makes us more resilient to be like, yeah, we have been through these things as many other people have, but the beauty is that we have the power of our minds, and we have awareness of all these things impacting our lives in a negative way, impacting our emotions in a negative way, impacting our goals in a negative way. And that awareness is what really gives us um, the control to do something about it and partner with ourselves and more, so that we can continue learning how to be supportive and in partnership with ourselves in ways that we never realized, in you know, the way that is like, it's like the missing glue that will allow all your, like all your puzzle pieces can be, I do puzzles, so so I'm thinking of this metaphor that all your puzzle pieces, you can have it all logically figured out and in place, have all those puzzle pieces put together. But if you're trying to like have this finished artwork to hang on your wall, and you don't have that glue, then none of it's like in the right place, but none of it can stick in order to serve the function that you're wanting it to serve. So that glue, I feel like, is the relationship we have with ourselves, to be in partnership with ourselves, to not use shame towards ourselves, and to be aware of when we are maybe the shame that we automatically put on ourselves, unconsciously, subconsciously, how that might affect the ways that we interpret other people and that we understand ourselves to be, how we understand ourselves in light of like who we are in the world and what we want to do and what is safe for us to do. And yeah, so just some things I hope is helpful for you to think about. This is something that I think about a lot. And yeah, when it comes to feeling like not like always being like, oh my god, like I'm not as evolved as I could be, or being like feeling impatient, like, oh my fucking god, why am I not different? It's like that ultimately that's a waste of energy, because we are perfect for exactly what we can be, given all the factors outside ourselves have allowed ourselves to be shaped like this. And we should actually be recognizing and honoring and celebrating how much effort we do put in to try to be as good a person as we can, as safe a person as we can, as connected a person as we can. We should be celebrating that and consistently looking to learn how do we personally play that role in solving problems. I mean, human communication is kind of always based on solving problems. Like, even if you're just talking about casual things, just for fun, the problem that you're solving is boredom, or the problem that you're solving is like distracting from negative emotions. There's always a problem that we're solving with people. So, whatever circumstance it ends up being, and like that you're solving problems with, it helps us to practice being really empathetic and compassionate with ourselves, to kind of form that to really infuse into us that that's just in our bones. So automatically when we are in situations with people, it becomes easier and easier. Yeah, we're gonna make mistakes still, but it can become easier and easier to perceive other people in a way that is advantageous for our goals, which is peace and safety and health and all the good things in life, right? Resilience, not being distracted by fear, and not accidentally playing to one another roles that reinforce our fear and that reinforce us kind of play acting for another person's theoretical appraisal, instead of acting from the heart that's authentically in line with what we are feeling and what we want to express and what we, in partnership with ourselves. So yeah, I just wanted to pull a card and just say, what is a perspective that I can use, that we can use to help remember how to celebrate ourselves, especially when things are rough and we're looking at all the negatives. What is a perspective we can use to remember how to always feel that celebration of ourselves? And I've shuffled these a lot. King of Wands. So using our magic, I'm still not really clued in so much. My assumption is that the king and queen is like yin and yang. You could say words versus emotions, or like logic versus intuition, or however whatever words you kind of use to dial in on those two things. One is more about narratives and logic and words, and one is more about feelings in the body, emotions that you feel through the body, and intuition, which you feel through the body. So if the king is representing more of the words, then I forget what question I asked now. Something about something about evolving. How to celebrate ourselves. So using our magic and our words. Looks like there's some fire energy going on in here. I see lions and a gecko or a lizard. I'm not really sure what the lizard is. But yeah, maybe it's something like using our logic, our narratives, our words, using that source of magic that we have to remember that when we are celebrating ourselves, it's really allowing us to go further in our goals. It's what is keeping what your heart cares about. Just think about, what do you care about? Like, what do you instinctively, if you could just snap your fingers and have everything be perfect, not even specific circumstances, but like that specific feeling that you want, that sense of like, I care about you, I'm devoted to you because I want to feel this way. Like, I want to feel like, if we would all have life be like that, if we could, they would feel secure, safe. And realizing that we can use our words. Part of our magic is that we can use our words and our narratives to support the kind of outcomes that we want. And celebrating ourselves is a crucial, it's not even just like a fun, lighthearted, like, oh yeah, we're gonna have fun and celebrate. It's extremely practical and necessary and intelligent to celebrate ourselves. And yeah, so anyway, thanks for listening, and I hope this has been helpful to you somehow, and take care. Bye.